I got mastitis last week for the first time and it came on really suddenly. I was very quickly shivering uncontrollably, vomiting uncontrollably, and just really generally unwell. As well as all of those symptoms, I also had a really tender, red, swollen, sore boob. So think of this video as a little bit of advice from your mum friends, because a lot of the tips in here I was recommended from my mum friends. So let's get straight into it. The first tip is a gentle massage, and it basically, just gently massage the blocked duct in the area that it's sort of inflamed or sore. Definitely don't put too much pressure on it because it can be really painful. But a top tip, which is something that a friend recommended to me, is, don't know if there's any science behind this, but she said when you're in the shower and you've been in there for a little minute and you're nice and warm, I think the water probably warms your breast, makes the duct more kind of easier to massage. So bend over in the shower and just gently massage, like kind of with gravity. Nothing needs to come out of your breast, you're not expressing, but kind of just gently massage that duct or the area that is painful. I think with the mastitis, everyone kind of gets it a little bit differently. What I found when I had it really bad a few days ago was that I could really feel the one area that was kind of really blocked and hard. So I just really gently kind of massaged that area with my thumb, just in like a circular motion. So I really recommend that. And another time to do gentle massage that I found really helpful was when I was breastfeeding on that side. So when Rhea was breastfeeding, I would simply kind of just massage that area again in circular motions like this. And I found that it kind of really helped to release the pressure. Second top tip from me is going to be take your bra off. There is no need for you to wear it unless there is, but I would really try and avoid it if you can. There's two reasons. So bras are obviously really tight and you don't want any kind of pressure on that area because it could make it worse. The second reason is because bras can be tight, it's probably just going to put a lot of pressure on it and just be extra painful. So try and reduce the pain and the possibility that you might make it worse, and just take your bra off and have a few days bra free. Tip number 3, cold compress and ibuprofen. So I have these like Lancino gel pads that you can either warm up or you can put them in the freezer. So I popped those in the freezer and I just had one on constantly on rotation on the area that was sore. And that really helps. Like obviously cold compresses are really good for inflammation, swelling, redness, soreness. So I found that that really helped. And ibuprofen is the same, great for inflammation, swelling, soreness, pain relief. So just kind of keep on top of that. Make sure you've constantly got something cold on it, and make sure you're up to date taking ibuprofen. I know it's not the most comfortable thing, having something cold on your boob. It just feels, doesn't feel nice, but trust me, it will make the pain better. Tip number 4, see your doctor. I actually woke up Wednesday evening and I felt so unwell, the most unwell I've ever felt in my life potentially, and I was vomiting. I was convinced that I had something like norovirus. I immediately called my doctor the following morning. So Thursday morning, I called my doctor. I said to the receptionist, I'm pretty sure I've got mastitis. I need an appointment to see if there's anything that you guys can do. I didn't really know at this point that they can give antibiotics for it. So I went to the doctor's. She didn't even have a look. I had a picture on my phone. This area, you can see in the picture, it's really sore, it's really swollen, it's really red, it's really inflamed. Last night I woke up. I initially woke up with the pain of my breast woke me. And then within about 20 minutes, I was kind of uncontrollably shaking and shivering, and I was so cold. I had a fever, and then I got up to kind of go and gently massage and hand express a little bit to see if that would help the pain in my boob. And as I was doing that, I started vomiting. And then I was vomiting for 4 hours, but that doesn't matter. What I'm saying is I went to the doctor and they prescribed me antibiotics. So I've got to take antibiotics for 7 days. And with that, top tip from me, grab yourself some probiotics as well, because antibiotics aren't great for your gut and they're also not great for baby's gut. And I have definitely seen that in Rhea. She's been really fussy, really unhappy, kind of colic-like symptoms. So expect that as well if you're on antibiotics. It kind of feels like a bit of a shit sandwich, doesn't it? Like, oh, have some mastitis. Oh, also have a fussy baby because you're on antibiotics. No. One thing after another with these babies. It's chaos, isn't it? Tip number 5. This is a bit of advice that I'm giving you because I didn't do this myself and I wish I had. However, I don't know if it would have made anything much different, but it might have done. When I got in bed on Wednesday night, so before any of my symptoms had started, before I started to feel poorly, I had a little bit of a tender breast, which isn't uncommon when you're breastfeeding. You know, if you haven't fed on that side for a while, maybe it becomes a little bit fuller, a bit sorer. So I got in bed and I was like, oh, that doesn't really feel normal. And I considered getting out of my nice cozy warm bed to go and kind of massage and gently hand express the breast that was sore, and I didn't. And I wonder if I had acted immediately, if that would have changed anything. This tip is act as quickly as you can. If you have a feeling that something's not right, call your GP, call your doctor, don't let it kind of get so bad and think, oh, it'll get better, because mastitis actually doesn't really clear up on its own. You have to have antibiotics because it is an infection. That might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the doctor said to me. Anyway, I'm not here to give you medical advice. I'm here to give you mum-to-mum advice. Tip number 6 is keep feeding. So this one's tricky because I think naturally it's the last thing that you want to do when, you know, like if you've hurt your foot, you don't want to go for a walk. But it does really help. And I felt that when I was feeding Rhea, that my breast felt worse when it was full of milk and needed to be drained. So I was feeding her as normal on that side, and every time I was feeding her I was doing the gentle massage, and after she had fed it always felt better. And I think probably because there was less milk and there wasn't as much pressure on the duct that was blocked. So yeah, I gotta say, keep feeding. The doctors will tell you that too. Keep feeding through it. All my friends said, keep feeding, keep feeding, keep feeding. I was like, I don't want to keep feeding, but you have to keep going, and don't do anything differently to what you usually do. Like, don't pump loads extra, because then obviously you're going to encourage more of a milk supply, and it's just gonna. So just keep sticking to what you're doing, and don't change anything apart from massage and all of those things. But yeah, keep feeding through it. And lastly, this isn't really a tip, it's just like a little bit of mum-to-mum chat. I did mention it briefly, but because you're on antibiotics, that does affect your baby's tummy. And you might see, I think it's more common than not, that you'll see kind of a change in them, and they might be quite a bit fussier, colic-like symptoms. So just kind of lots of crying, lots of squirming. Rhea has really bad trapped farts, bottom wind. She's really struggling with it, and she's like really tensing to try and squeeze it out, and when she's doing that she's absolutely screaming, and that is so tough. It is so hard to see your baby distressed. It makes you distressed when you're already feeling poorly and you've already got a sore boob, and you know you've potentially been vomiting and all sorts of really nasty things. Then having your screaming baby just scream in your face every time they're awake, like the only time that they are quiet is when they're asleep. It's a lot. So mastitis solidarity hug to you guys. It's okay to ask for help or take a minute if you can. It's really hard to, you know, have all of those things going on. It's totally not normal. And also it plays with tricks of your minds, because you're like, my baby was never like this before. What's going on with them? Is there something wrong with them? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, intrusive thoughts and things happen in your brain, and that's not easy. So yeah, I just want to give all of you a really big hug. If you've got mastitis, and you've got any other tips, things that have worked for you, put them in the comments down below so that everybody else can read them. And yeah, I hope you're okay. I hope your boobs are okay, and I hope your babies are okay. And I'm thinking of you all. Lots of love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.